people of the World Wide Web. So it is Cypher Sigma here. It is movie review in this Christmas week, and obviously, as you can see, it is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. So I went to see this just over a week ago. I went on a Sunday night, so it's fairly packed. So it's good to see that from my local cinema, even though it's closing. But that's another story. But yes, anybody who does or doesn't know, so this is the returning cast of Sonic from 1 and 2, with the addition of Keanu Reeves and Kristen Ritter, among a few other small names, who join the fray for this third adventure. This is essentially introducing the character of Shadow, a kind of evil Sonic character, and the fighting of all kind of the conflict between him, the Robotniks, and Sonic, Tails and Knuckles, and the humans, obviously. So it has two credit scenes. It has a pre-credit scene and a post-credit scene. I feel like they were maybe the wrong way around for spoilers for future stuff, and it has been greenlit for a fourth movie, so we will get something more. And I did thoroughly enjoy this movie, so we shall whack the spoiler warning up and we shall get into it. So yes, this movie starts with Sonic having a race with Knuckles and Tails, and it basically is a ruse. It is a ruse to kind of have a celebration of this is the anniversary of when he first came to Earth. And obviously he has a bit of a heart-to-heart with his dad Tom, and kind of you have a connection of, it's all about heart and team and everything else. While this is happening, you have a complex in Japan where Shadow is being captured. Shadow is freed from some prison by what you can see a Robotnik-like symbol. And essentially Shadow, when breaks free, Gun, the kind of human military organization, bring in Sonic and Nat to fight him. Obviously there's a conflict. Shadow just wipes the floor with them, and then he basically goes off to start his kind of evil adventure. He heads back to the lab of where he was first seen, while Sonic, Knuckles and Tails regroup at a cafe. A mysterious biker kind of rescues them from loads of egg drones, and then leads them back to Dr. Robotnik, who is alive after the second movie, which we kind of knew. He joins the fray of basically someone has stolen his technology and could be behind the whole Shadow being released, and they've kind of got the same kind of common enemy. This leads them all to kind of go back to the base of where Shadow was originally held. You then come across the second Jim Carrey character, who is the granddad of Dr. Robotnik. Done quite well. Obviously from the trailers you kind of think if it's his dad when it's his grandpa. More I'll go into that at a later date. This is when the Robotniks team up with Shadow to kind of get this device, this kind of machine. They're looking for 2 key cards for this machine that Robotnik Senior, so to speak, or Grandpa, designed 50 years ago, and he wants to basically destroy Gun with it, or that is the premise of it. During this split, obviously this is in the trailer, Tails, Knuckles and that all get chained together, manage to escape from them using the black hole to destroy the plant where the factory or the prison where Shadow was being held. And when Sonic and Nat, he then gets hold of Tom and his wife, and then they go on a plan to get the second key, which is held at the Gun facility in London. So you then have the Robotniks and Shadow versus obviously the good guys, and and then this is when they use some hologram technology to bring in Shamar Moore and his wife from the second movie, if you've seen that one. There's a conflict. Obviously the Robotniks get the keys. Tom is majorly hurt at the end of this kind of procedure when they get the second key. He is hurt, is in a bad way. This causes Sonic to kind of lose it. He goes off on his own, finds the emerald, which Knuckles has hidden with Wade Whipple, goes supersonic and then flies up into space to stop the Robotniks and Shadow. He basically rips Shadow out of the spaceship, and they're fighting quite a cosmic one on the moon and everything else. While this is going on, it comes to fruition that the older Robotnik just wants to destroy the world and everybody. He thinks the human race is rubbish. He just wants to kill everything. Obviously Robotnik doesn't want that. He wants to rule the world, and if he can't, then he's going to try and save it. So he's fighting his granddad while Sonic's fighting Shadow. And then during this fight, they come to some realization that Shadow isn't all that bad. He's just grown up in a bad environment, and obviously there is you see clips going back and forth that he has some sort of relation with Robotnik's granddaughter, which must be Robotnik's sister. But apart from a few flashbacks, you don't get any more explanation on that, and that's something that did bug me a little bit. Anyway, Shadow comes round. The spaceship fires. Sonic and Shadow stop it temporarily, and then they move the laser, cuts a slice off the moon. Shadow then pushes it out of the way, it explodes, supposedly killing him and Robotnik. Elder Robotnik has died at this point by younger Robotnik by killing him. Then Sonic goes back down to Earth and it's all happy and merry and everything is there. The end. Then you have the two post clips. So the first one, you have them go back to the original beginning of the movie where he has a race, he runs off and he sees these metal Sonic characters, which if you know the games, they come in, and then he's saved by a hooded character which is revealed to be Amy. That's the first one. I would have had that as the second reveal, and then the second reveal is basically there's a rubble and then the cuffs that Shadow had, you see his boots and him pick it up, so you believe that he's still alive. That is a movie in a nutshell. What did I think of it? I really, really liked it. I'm going to rate it 7.3 out of 10. Now, I think the one thing Sonic movies have done very well, they build on this world because it is a mixture of human and obviously the CG characters. Obviously, you only had Sonic in the first one with Robotnik, and then you had Sonic, Tails and Knuckles, and then with Shadow and the robots and two Robotniks and stuff. That worked really, really well. It ups the game each time and it's a bigger thing. There are quite a lot of funny moments in it. Not all I found funny. Some, Tom has his puppet and stuff like that, and it features quite a bit, and I thought that was brilliant. There was a few other jokes I thought were quite well done. It was very clever. All the trailers only really covered the first 20 minutes of the movie. There are a few little clips later on. I think if they would have held back Jim Carrey's granddad being in it, or the fact you don't know it's his granddad, you may think it's his dad from the trailer. I think if you held back that aspect, that would have been a far better twist in it and would have elevated the movie even more, because you wouldn't have seen it coming, because the first kind of trailer shows him helping Robotnik, and the second one you showed Robotnik's against Sonic, so you know a lot of the story anyway. It gives too much away in my eyes. Obviously it's more of a movie for kids, so they probably don't pick up on this like I do. But that was it. And adding Keanu Reeves was great as Shadow. Obviously, all the characters work well together. Obviously, they had a few characters that almost died and stuff. And I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. The thing why I don't rate this more is it's part of a franchise, so you need to have seen 1 and 2. Potentially, you even need to see the Sit Knuckle series to understand the Wade Whipple scene, because he only has one. But also, you have, when it flashbacks to the 50 years ago, you have Robotnik's granddaughter. But there's no explanation. She is killed, and it shows how she's killed, or it seems that she's killed, but there's no, who her parents are, how she's linked to the grandfather, and how the grandfather, where his kids are, and how obviously he's had Robotnik, because Robotnik says he has no family and stuff, and there's a lot of this that maybe was explained in an earlier film, but because it wasn't covered here, that left me confused for a lot of it. It needed a bit more explanation in my eyes. But it is what it is, but still a very great movie, and I think an evolution of the Sonic movie franchise. I look forward to number 4. That has been my review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Have you seen this movie? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and I shall see you in the next one.